everyone. We're going to be going through 5.3 to 5.5 today. So let's get started. Number 1 says to divide, and we're going to use synthetic division. As you can see, we are dividing by two things, not one. Now for synthetic division, we place this number, we play the opposite of that on the outside of the box. Then we make this weird shape, and now we will put the values of everything that we are dividing here in this box. 4, 16, negative 39, and 54. So we drag down the first number, which is 4, and now we multiply the number in front by the number on the bottom. Negative 6 times 4 is going to give us negative 24. And we write it here. And now 16 plus negative 24, meaning 16 minus 24, is going to be negative 8. Now, negative 6 times negative 8 is going to be positive 48. Negative 39 plus 48 is 9. Negative 6 times positive 9 is negative 54, which is 0. 54 minus 54 is 0. And now we place it into this format, taking away one m for each of the values. Since it's 0, we don't need to have a denominator with this. On the next example, you will see if there's a number, you would have to put whatever you're dividing by under that. So our answer would be 4m squared plus, minus 8m plus 9. That's our answer. Number 2, synthetic division. Once again, we take the opposite of this, which is going to be negative 3. Make this little weird shape. Now we put each of these values into that. And we do 5, 13, negative 2, x, 1, negative 1, 98. We bring down the 5. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. 13 minus 15 is going to give us negative 2. Negative 3 times negative 2 is going to be positive 6. Negative 2 plus 6 is going to be 4. Negative 3 times positive 4 is negative 12. 1 plus negative 12, or 1 minus 12, is going to give us negative 11. Negative 3 times negative 11 is going to give us positive 33. Now negative 1 plus 33 is going to give us 32. And negative 3 times positive 32 is going to give us negative 96. Now we would input it into this format. So 5x to the 4th minus 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 11x plus, 98 minus 96 is going to give us 2, plus 32. And then this last number, we can put it in a little box, and we would add it as 2 over x plus 3. That's our answer for number 2. For number 3, we divide once again using synthetic division. We already know how to do this, 2 factors. We take the opposite of this, which is going to be negative 2, like that. Now we put the factors. 1 7 and 3. That's a little longer than I needed. Bring down the 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. And 3 minus 10 is going to give us negative 7. Now we would input it into our format, taking away an x. So it's going to be just x plus 5 minus 7 over x plus 2. Because we already have something that doesn't have an x, and the next thing that does not have an x is going to go over what we are dividing by. You can put a little square on it. That's our answer for number 3. Now for number 4, it's asking us to factor. Oh. Excuse me. So now to factor, let's do it. We have to find A, C, and B. And then a common number. What's a common number? What's the greatest common factor between all of these? It's going to be 2. Let's put it here so that we remember. Now A and C. What's 4 times negative 8? It's going to be negative 32. B is negative 14. And we have to find a number that can multiply to be negative 32 and add up to be negative 14. If you don't know the number right off the top of your head, you can just do 1, 32, 2, 16. In our case, it's going to be 2 and 16. It's going to be positive 2 and negative 16. Because negative 16 plus 2 is negative 14. And 2 minus 16 is negative 14. Let's do 2, negative 16. And now we would set this up. So let's put our greatest common factor out up front, which is 2. And then we would do x plus blank over blank, x plus blank over blank. Up, we're going to put the numbers that we found. So it's going to be 2, negative 16. And on the bottom, we're going to put A, and our A is 4. Let's simplify this first. X plus 1/2, x minus 4. We can't really have a fraction here, so this denominator, we're just gonna swoop it over to the other side. So it's gonna be 2x plus 1 x minus 4. That's going to be our answer. Now we go to number 5. Once again, it's asking us to factor. Let's find the greatest common factor between all of these numbers. The greatest common factor is 6. Oops. It is 6. Let's write it there so we don't forget. Now let's do A, C, and B. 12 times negative 30 is going to give us negative 360. And our B is 54. We have to find two numbers that multiply to negative 360 and add up to be positive 34. I actually haven't done this before, so let's do it together because I don't know. We can do 1, 360, 2, 180, 3, 120, Sorry, my calculator was very laggy. We can do 4, 95, 72. We're getting closer. We can do 6, 60. And that is our answer. It's going to be 6 and 60. One of them has to be negative. Let's make the 6 negative. Because 60 minus 6 is 54, and 60 times negative 6 is negative 360. So our numbers are negative 6 and, whoops, 3, and 60. Now to set it up, we put our greatest common factor out front. We do, in this case it's y, because that's the variable that's being given to us. Y plus blank over blank. Y plus blank over blank. On the top, the numbers that we found. On the bottom, it's going to be our a value. Let's simplify this first. So it's going to be y plus negative 1 over 2. And y plus 10 over 2, which is going to be 5. It's going to be 5. Yep, it's going to be 5. Now for these, we have a denominator, we have a fraction, can have that. Just loop this over to the other side. So it's going to be 6, 2y minus 1. Remember this negative sign. And y plus 5. That's our answer. For number 6, once again we're factoring. Let's find a number that we have in common for all of these. Now in this case we can factor out a number and an x, because all of the variables, the numbers, they have an x on them. Oh my, that was my calculator. Okay, and that was my pencil. Okay, we can factor out a 4. We can also make it a negative 4. And we can take out an x. So let's just say the greatest common factor is negative 4x. Now let's do a and c and b. Negative 60 times 16 is negative 960. What a big number. And our b is negative 16. We have to find a number that multiplies to negative 960 and can add up to negative 16. You can start at 1 and then work your way up. So the numbers that can multiply to negative 960 and add up to be negative 16 are 24 and 40. Now one of them has to be negative. Let's make 24 the negative number. So negative 24, comma 40. Because negative 24 plus 40. Nope. Let's do it the other way around, actually. Negative 40 and 24. Because negative 40 plus 24 is going to give us negative 16. And negative 40 times 24 is going to give us negative 960. Let's set it up. Greatest common factor out front again. Negative 4x. Now we do x. So x plus blank over blank. X plus blank over blank. The numbers we found up top. Our a value on the bottom. Now we can simplify this. Remember, negative and negative makes a positive. And we get x plus 2/3. And then x plus 2/5. Denominators that we don't want, so we zoop it up to the other side. And our answer is going to be negative 4x, 3x plus 2, and then 5x minus 2. Number 7, we're almost done. We're being asked to factor once again. So we have to find a common number between these numbers. Is there a common number between these? There is not, which means it can be 1, which means on the outside of the parentheses it's just going to be nothing. So let's do the usual. A times C and then B. 15 times 4 is going to give us 60. And our B is 16. We have to find a number that can multiply to 60 and add up to be 16. So we can start 60 divided by 2, 60 divided by 3, 60 divided by 4, until we find a number that can add up to be positive 16. In this case, our numbers are 6 and 10. 6 times 10 is 60, 6 plus 10 is 16. We would usually put our greatest common factor out front, but there is none. So we keep going. We do x plus blank over blank, x plus blank over blank. We put the numbers we found up top and our a value on the bottom. Let's simplify. X plus, you can divide this by 3, so it's going to be 2/5. And then x plus, we can divide this by 5. It's going to be 2/3. We have denominators we don't want. We swoop them off to the side. And our final answers are 5x plus 2, 3x plus 2. Now for number 8, we have to find a common number between these. And our common number is going to be 5. Let's write it off to the side. Greatest common factor is 5. A, C, and B. 60 times 5 is going to give us 300. And our B value is 35, so we have to find something that can multiply to be 300 and add up to be 35. Our numbers are going to be 20 and 15. 20 times 15 is 300, and then 20 plus 15 is going to be 35. We write our GCF up front, and then we do x plus blank y, x plus blank y, because we have an x and a y. And then we are going to write the numbers that we found up top and our a on the bottom. Now we divide. X is going to be 1/4. X plus 1/4 y. And this is going to be 1/3 y. We have denominators we don't want, we don't like. We zoom them over to the other side. And our answer is going to be 5 parentheses 4x plus y, 3x plus y. And that's going to be our answer. And that's all for today. Thank you for being here.